Very good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody's having a lovely Saturday afternoon. Trisha, Shalu, Saurabh, Payal, Bhavya, good to see all of you. Yashasvi, okay, Ravish Kumar is here. Saurabh, good to see all of you guys. Late OP in the chat box. Late OP, late by 30 seconds. That's late. Huh? Okay, Anju Yashaswini is also here. Yashasvi is also here. Maharuk, anyone from Kolkata? Amiyo Bangla bolti pari, bujhti pari, Maharuk bhai. It's not a problem. I mean, I'm not from Kolkata, of course. But if you're looking for Bengali conversation, you can always keep me in the loop. Uday, very good afternoon. Shivangi, very good afternoon to you as well. And those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Gradeup YouTube channel. Okay, today we have an interesting session. Okay, Anurag Das says Amiyo Bangali sir. Okay, Anurag, no, actually I am from the nearby state of Odisha, but I mean I've Odia and Bengali are anyway sort of kind of very similar to each other. So I can definitely speak and I can definitely understand Bengali, right? But anyway, so today's discussion is primarily on the center versus state dispute. Well, I mean, Delhi is not really a state per se. Delhi is, of course, a union territory under Article 239 AA, right, of the Indian Constitution. We have specific provision which deals with the status of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Now we have also got various laws and regulations which govern the position of Delhi, right? And we have had an interesting amendment, right? We've had an interesting amendment by way of an ordinance issued in terms of defining the powers of the lieutenant governor in Delhi, right? So states we have governors. In union territories, particularly like in Kashmir now, in Puducherry, in the NCT of Delhi, right? We have lieutenant governors right now. Unlike other states, right? Like Uttar Pradesh mein governor hai, Maharashtra mein there is a governor. The powers of the governor, right, is purely constitutional and symbolic in a lot of contexts and so on. But when it comes to union territories, there are specific administrative powers that that the lieutenant governors have. It's not just like a constitutional head kind of a thing. It is also कि उनका एक administrative role भी होता है, right? Administrative role भी होता है. So we will of course be looking at with a special focus on what's the situation in Kejriwal versus Narendra Damodar Das Modi, right? Okay, quite a few questions on how much to get for NUJS. Is this useless for Jamia entrance examination? Well, I mean, of course, this is important for any law entrance, right? अब जामिया का कौन सा एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन के बारे में पूछ रहे हो? अगर जामिया का मेडिकल कॉलेज का एंट्रेंस की बात है, yes, this is useless. And I'm just curious because your name is Business World. So if it is for MBA also, I don't know how far it will be relevant. But if it is for the law entrance, right? If it is for the law entrance, then it is definitely going to continue to be a relevant factor. Anyone giving SLAT? The SLAT exam is scheduled for tomorrow, right, Soham? I don't know if some of you are giving, but all the very best from all of us here at Gradeup. If you are giving this the Sindhi exam, and I think the Jindal exam I think is scheduled for tomorrow. Those of you who are giving the LSAT, not the SLAT, but the LSAT examination. Good afternoon, sir. Sorry, I'm a little late. No problem, Amisha. Good to have you here. Hello, how was your half day, guys? Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Can one state have two governors? Okay, Saksham has an interesting question. No, Saksham, one state will not have more than one governor. Kai bar, in many situations, what happens is one governor, is given additional charge of a particular state, like the governor of Uttar Pradesh, Anandiben Patel, was given additional charge of the state of Madhya Pradesh, right? So that's possible, but I'm sorry, but एक state में दो governor usually नहीं होते हैं. So anyway, what is this context of center versus Delhi, or Kejriwal versus the Modi administration? We are going to look at all of those things, but before that, I have some interesting announcements for all of you. Nivedita, our in-house legal aptitude superstar faculty, is going to bring for you the quiz competition episode 4, right? So episode 3 also had a very successful session, I think yesterday, and episode 4 is scheduled for 8:30 p.m. today on the Gradeup app, right? And of course only on the Gradeup app, so it's not going to be on YouTube. हम लोग cash prizes के साथ ये वाले competitions कर रहे हैं. Abhimanyu's sessions on GK and Nivedita's sessions on the legal quiz competition. So if you're looking for a little bit of pocket money in the evening today, right, do join us on the app. We have specific polls type के options दिए जाएंगे. You have to click on the right answer. Fastest finger first type का नहीं है. You'll be given appropriate time, and of course if you're simply there just to learn as well, Nivedita will take you through the answers, and that can also be of a lot of help to you, right? So end of month super sale. End of month super sale for all Gradeup courses. The code is last 55 because it is literally the last 3 days of the month of May where these offers are now open to you. So do take advantage of it, do make the most of it. One time flat 55%. Okay, we also have Tariq Khan, who's going to be joining us live at 7 p.m. on the 5th of June, exclusively on the Gradeup YouTube channel, and he's Forbes top individual lawyers, youngest 40 under 40 lawyers. He's made that list. He's a very, very successful lawyer. To hear directly from the horse's mouth in terms of how to be a successful litigation lawyer, what to do in the courtrooms, and probably equally importantly what not to do in the courtrooms, is basically you should be joining us on the 5th of June exclusively at 7 p.m. on the Gradeup YouTube channel, right? The booster new batch 4, batch 3 ke classes are coming towards the fag end of it, towards the very end of it, but batch 4 enrollments are now game on. Khela hobe, right? It will continue because of course examinations, as you know, the CLAT exam, the ALAT exam, they've been indefinitely postponed. So you can take advantage of it, and like I said before, the code last 55 is your ticket towards the 55% discount that you can also avail. The enrollments for comprehensive courses like CLAT 2022 as well as CLAT 2021 crash courses for other examinations, test analysis, revision courses, the batches for 2023, sub-K enrollments, depending on what is your position, depending on what you are looking for, we have all kinds of options that are available to you, right? So make your judgment call. That's all I can really suggest at the very end. Okay, Let us now come to the GNCTD ordinance. GNCTD इसे सुनने में थोड़ा सा complicated लग रहा है, but क्या है ये? Government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, right? Government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, NCT of Delhi. उसी के बारे में उसमें क्या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पावर्स होते हैं, क्या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पावर्स नहीं होते हैं, हु कैन राइट, who can have a higher upper hand kind of a thing. That's essentially what this earlier law as well as this amendments that have been brought through the ordinance is essentially looking at, right? मैम इलेक्शन खत्म हो गया बंगाल के. अरे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैम ही बोल दिया क्या? ऐसे मैं मैम टाइप का लग रहा हूँ नहीं, but yeah, I was just using the TMC rally, the rally cry for that context. Okay, Gradeup CLAT, can you make a video of the Rwanda genocide if it is important? So please. Okay, so I mean, there's been, of course, multiple genocidal issues in Rwanda. Of course, the most famous background to the Rwandan genocide is the conflict between the Hutus and the Tutsi rebel forces that happened, the two ethnic classes in Rwanda. Sorry, sir, I'm sorry. Trisha, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing to apologize. I just smiled and it's really nothing to apologize. Honestly, बता रहा हूँ मैं, ऐसा कुछ absolutely no hard feelings, no. So anyway, Hutus and Tutsi rebel forces, and of course, with the passage of time, things have only continued to escalate and de-escalate, and sort of escalate further. So, in fact, I recommend all of you, if you can find it, there's a lovely movie called what is that name of the movie? Called Hotel Rwanda. If you can find that movie. That'll also, of course, thoda purana hai, so but yeah, it's still an interesting movie to watch. Sir, how a CM of any party could be removed during his period? By passing a no confidence motion. Udbhav Tripathi, by passing a no confidence motion. Saurabh Kumar, sir, Kalinga University of Odisha is best or no? Of course not. I mean, why would Kalinga University be the best? Best at what? Which course? Now, in any case, I don't think it is the best at any of the courses. Maybe within Odisha कुछ courses में best हो सकता है, but pan India level पे तो obviously not. Dunkirk movie is also absolutely. I agree. Napoleon. Anyways, Saurabh, I think I've already answered that. Okay. So what is this particular bill जो यहाँ पर हो रहा है? The bill through amendments in various sections makes it mandatory. Mandatory means it is now compulsory. ये जो ordinance आया है, ये जो amendments आए हैं, it is compulsory for the government to send files, right, and seek the opinion of the lieutenant governor before taking almost any administrative decision, right? So which means government का power बहुत heavy level तक, of course, restrict कर दिया गया है, because now the lieutenant governor is seemingly going to have a lot of power. The bill seeks to replace government in the act with lieutenant governor. The bill says the expression government referred to in any law to be made by the legislative assembly shall mean lieutenant governor. So जहां पर भी there was an issue of consultation, right? There was an issue of consultation with the government, the decision to be taken by the government. All of this now has to be redirected, and all of this shall now mean the lieutenant governor, which means, of course, the lieutenant governor is going to have quite a bit of administrative power in terms of the governance of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, right? So okay, sir, can this law be put under judicial review? Why isn't the Supreme Court quashing this law as unconstitutional? So Aditya, that's for the Supreme Court to decide. I don't think we can really presume that by default, this law is unconstitutional. तो एक बार I think हम देख लेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट देख लेगा, उसके बाद we'll probably have a better shot at deciding this. Sorry, I think just screwed up the formatting just a little bit. Just give me a second, guys. I want to sort of just get this right. Okay, should be better. Okay. Okay, so the other amendment is in section 44. So section 44 में भी पहले यही होता था कि you have to take the prior permission. You have to take the prior permission of the government before making any decision. And now that we are seeking to transfer that power, basically because we are seeking to transfer that power from the sort of the government to the lieutenant governor, right? Therefore we can also see that ये वाले clause में भी, ये वाले position में भी a lot of these powers have effectively been transferred, right? Let me just take a look at the chat box. I think मामला heat up होता जा रहा है. Hi Gayatri, very good afternoon. Guys, last minute doubts पूछा करो. Okay, that's one way to say. Can this law be wiser? Okay, Supreme Court पे हम लोग आ रहे हैं. How many of you are in Gradeup Telegram channel? So don't you think this bill is very authoritarian? Well, I mean, not necessarily, because it is, at the end of the day, it's a union territory, right? So obviously the representatives of the union should also have some say in what to do and what not to do. Particularly, this is not a state government, and I will explain what the Supreme Court had said in 2018, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ एनसीटी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का भी डिस्प्यूट हुआ था, right? There's quite a bit of controversy in and around that as well. So let's go and see कि क्या situation है, क्या position था. Okay, so what was the earlier position? अब तो हम कह रहे हैं कि लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर बहुत सारे decision लेगा. Article 239AA of the Constitution basically talks about NCT of Delhi का क्या situation है, क्या status है. And the National Capital Territory of Delhi, of course, is a union territory. It is not an independent state. It is not an independent state. Okay, Shashank Tripathi, sir, I tried contacting you on Facebook Messenger. Please check. Okay, Shashank, I don't think I have a message from you. Is this Shashank from Nalsar? Somebody that I used to know from a long time ago, because I'm not able to identify from the display picture, but looks slightly similar, so I'm just getting my memory triggered. Anyway, what the Supreme Court had said in 2018, case का नाम भी आप लोग देख लिए, Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India and others. The LG has not been entrusted with any independent decision making power. Independent nahi hai completely. He has to, according to the Supreme Court, he has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Right? Nope, sir, I wish to get it in Asana. No problem, Shashank. No problem. I'll text again. Sure, Shashank. That'll be very sweet of you. This is similar to Washington DC in the US, where the union has the power. Yes, I mean District of Columbia. Of course, within the entire District of Columbia, of course, the federal government has its own independent functionality. There's a lot of territory which is under federal control. And similarly, यहाँ पर भी ये एक union territory का situation में चल रहा है. Okay, so this is just like the President of India, right? President has to act in accordance with the aid and advice of the central government ka Council of Ministers. Similarly, right? Similarly, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi also has to act in accordance with the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers of the state government. What is also very, 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 very important is that the Supreme Court, however, said that by no stretch of imagination, Delhi can be accorded the status of a state under the present constitutional scheme. So Delhi is not a state. State government के wider powers होते हैं, but Delhi आता ही यूनियन गवर्नमेंट के अंडर है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के अंडर है. द कोर्ट सेड दैट द लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर वाज नॉट लाइक अ गवर्नर ऑफ अ स्टेट, but he was an administrator, right, in a limited sense, who was working with the designation of a lieutenant governor. So while there are of course certain limitations, right, certain boundaries that we have to put even on the LG's powers, even on the lieutenant governor's powers, similar restrictions, right, similar restrictions of course have to be there on the union territory government also, because union territory hai to Delhi sarkar cannot have more power than the central government because it is a union territory, right. Funding की बात होती है, taxation की बात होती है, bills की बात होती है, तो वो सारे चीजों में ultimately it becomes the responsibility of the central government to a very large extent, right. So and with responsibility of course there is going to be certain advantage or certain superiority in terms of the powers that the central government enjoys or has over the national capital territory. It is far from over. At the end of the day, if you ask me, at the end of the day, if you simply start looking at the media reports, whether it is the oxygen crisis that happened, or it is the vaccine situation problem that happened, or it is the central government which wanted to do an auditing कि दिल्ली सरकार अपना ऑक्सीजन को किस तरह से यूज कर रही है. It was very interesting, right. You all of us saw Kejriwal over and over again saying हमारा इतना ऑक्सीजन का रिक्वायरमेंट है, मिल नहीं रहा है, इतना ऑक्सीजन का रिक्वायरमेंट है, मिल नहीं रहा है, and then the central government did an auditing. तो दिल्ली सरकार ने कहा नहीं ऑक्सीजन का ऑडिट आप नहीं कर सकते, कहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं ये आप नहीं चेक कर सकते. मैटर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गया, and in the Supreme Court the central government sort of was just about to win and उन्होंने खुद का ऑडिट का गारंटी कर ही दिया था. तो दिल्ली सरकार ने कहा अच्छा हमारा ऑक्सीजन का रिक्वायरमेंट ही अब कम हो गया है, right. There was a reduction immediately after the Supreme Court said central government audit करेगा, right. So I don't know, it's not about whether I believe one is moral or immoral or कौन सच बोल रहा है कौन झूठ बोल रहा है. I'm simply trying to point out to all of you that the battle, right, the battle between the center and the state, the battle between Modi and Arvind Babu is going to continue, I believe, definitely in the near future. And one of the flashpoints, one of the major flashpoints that I think all of us are going to see is going to be based on this particular ordinance. Of course, this ordinance is also going to be challenged in the Supreme Court कि भाई ये लॉ ही गलत है, तो वो भी हमें to some extent we have to keep a track of all of these things to see whether the government is whether which government is right, whether which government is wrong, whether the Supreme Court is actually going to declare something to be unconstitutional in this particular ordinance amendment and changes that have happened. So Article 239AA सुप्रीम कोर्ट का प्रीवियस जजमेंट जो 2018 में आया था, some important points on that, and the transfer of powers by the replacement of the word government with lieutenant governor in the current times, right. And let's see where this battle ultimately takes us. Let us keep a track, and we here at Gradeup also assure you कि जैसे जैसे कुछ important होता रहेगा हम भी आपको वो नई चीजें लाते रहेंगे, राइट. ओके, क्वाइट अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस ऑन द चैट बॉक्स. लेट मी से सर फायदा क्या हुआ इस बिल के बदलने पर? वेल, आई मीन बेसिकली लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर के पास बहुत सारे डिस्क्रिशंस आ जाएंगे ना. सो जैसे अभी वैक्सीन और ये सब का चल रहा है तो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर का अप्रूवल भी चाहिए होगा, तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपना ऑक्सीजन ऑडिट और ये सब अगर करना चाहे तो कल ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी कि केजरीवाल जो है ऑक्सीजन का चेक करने नहीं दे रहा है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल. How can a union territory become an independent state without control of central government? Udbhav, that can happen only by way of an amendment to the Constitution of India. भारत का संविधान बदलना पड़ेगा. It can be done only by amendment to the Constitution of India. right? But then when it is union territory, it will be ruled by elected government at the center, and that too will be democratic, right? Yes, so the lieutenant governor anyway is appointed by the central government only. So there is of course indirect election and a lot of these things. So let's see how it ultimately works. यहाँ पर तो definitely ये हो रहा है that the lieutenant governor is being given more power, right? More power, and let's see what the future ultimately tells us. So why not dissolve Vidhan Sabha completely and implement LG rule completely? Well, I mean, if you look at Article 239 AA and the other constitutional provisions, कुछ यूनियन टेरिटरीज में इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट होता है, like in Kashmir there is going to be an elected government as well. If you look at NCT of Delhi, there is a elected government, and in Puducherry also there is an elected government. Now of course सारे यूनियन टेरिटरी में इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, right? So I mean चंडीगढ़ में नहीं है, so many other, लक्षद्वीप में there is no separate elected government, Andaman and Nicobar Islands or दादरा एंड नगर हवेली etc. सो कहीं पर है कहीं पर नहीं है. अब वो पूरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अमेंडमेंट करके करना पड़ेगा. It ultimately depends on what degree of political will that the central government has, and whether they want to use that political capital for the purpose of actually changing the law to to that extent. So देखते हैं अभी तो ऐसा कुछ drastic certainly नहीं हो रहा है. So yeah, it is democratic, and in that case then tell why Puducherry having it. So I mean, yeah, Sahil, so like I said, there are it's more than one. Is there any disadvantage of giving more power to the LG? It's just a general. So Gayatri, I do believe that if at the end of the day, if we do have a particular a particular elected government even within the union territory, and if we simply want to transfer the power to the lieutenant governor, it just I think fundamentally there is a conflict in the philosophical reason for which we have the government. But I think like somebody was asking me, I think Shashank was asking me, why not dissolve it? Bhai, agar sare power, if all the powers are anyway to be given to the lieutenant governor, then I think it ultimately does beg the question that why do we have the assembly in the first place, right? And if we do have the assembly, why not give them certain powers and a certain degree of autonomy and independence so that they can function like like other places? Or if you want to keep it as a complete union territory, well, I mean, just transfer everything to the union or to the lieutenant governor, and probably that makes sense. So I believe, if you ask me personally, as a law student, as a law graduate, and somebody who is even today a student of constitutional law, I personally believe we have to keep those powers to some extent quite separate. I think there must be an absolute kind of an equality. I believe this bill, personally speaking, I believe this bill to some extent creates equality, but to some extent it gives a little more power to the lieutenant governor. Having said that, I think थोड़ा सा दिल्ली सरकार के पास भी बहुत सारे पावर्स थे, वो भी यूनिलैटरली कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ऐसा भी होना चाहिए. लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर भी कुछ भी यूनिलैटरली नहीं कर सकता, ये भी एक होना चाहिए, right? So neither the LG nor the Delhi chief minister or the Delhi government should be allowed to do anything unilaterally at the end of the day. Neither of them should be allowed to do unilaterally. If it was a full state, then the government should have had much more power, but because it is a union territory, I believe LG and the Delhi government should have equal amount of power. If there is a tilting of power in any one direction, that I would think is certainly a problem. So let's see, like I said, this is certainly not the final page or the final chapter in this book of battles between Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal, क्योंकि दोनों की सरकार भी अभी काफी साल बाकी है, तो बिल्कुल चुनौतियां, challenges, all of it will continue, and all of us will have to read more law and listen to more entertainment while that battle between Delhi and the center continues, right? Thank you very much, everyone. Do remember to drop in a like. Keeps us motivated. A lot of likes already on the videos, so that's very, very motivating for all of us here at Gradeup. Remember to subscribe. Do reach out to us on this WhatsApp number and feel free to pick up the phone and give us a call on any of these numbers. Sahi prep hai, to live set hai. Thank you very much. Size is a lopsided rule, as we all know. Well, I mean, it's for the Supreme Court to decide, and I definitely don't know, Sahil. I personally, I don't think it's by default a very lopsided rule. I think it's just a balancing out at the end of the day. But having said that, if, like I said, if there is any one entity which is getting more power, that I believe is the problem. In any case, केजरीवाल और मोदी जी दोनों जो है कुछ ना कुछ बताते रहेंगे, हम भी न्यूज में देखते रहेंगे. Ultimately, it is for the Supreme Court to decide how things are shaping up. Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely Saturday evening. I hope the weather is as awesome at your place as it is in Lucknow today on this lovely Saturday evening. Okay, guys, enough बात कर ली है मैंने. See you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.